Alright, well, let's start here. This, oddly enough, seems like another commander that could go in fairly two different directions. Like some kind of mono red storm thing, although you have to, like, trigger it, and it might be a little bit too difficult to do that in mono red, but apparently it's possible. So 4 mana 3/3, prowess, trample. Okay, I didn't actually even see that. I didn't see that. I should probably read stuff before I start making decks. I did not see that part. It has trample and prowess, so it could itself just swing for lethal if you go infinite. Okay. Well, anyways, whenever it enters or you cast an elemental, you get a Rite of Flame or a Take Inventory. And then they give you more red and more cards given how many are in the graveyard. We don't have Rite of Flame, apparently. I thought we did, but apparently not. At least I can't find it. We do have Take Inventory, though, so you just run one in your deck, I guess. But if I find myself just going for Rite of Flame all the time, so I can explode and win with, like, Omniscience, weird lines, then maybe taking this out makes sense. But like I was saying, mono red could kind of have a hard time with triggering this. I'm not super stoked about just like the exclusively red things that would trigger this, because they have to be elementals. It's not like I can just play Ragavan. Ragavan doesn't like trigger anything. But apart from that, you have ways to go infinite, like Displacer Kitten. So you cast Rite of Flame, you flicker this, you get another one, and then, you know, suddenly you have 10 bajillion red. You can play a spell or a card that, like, pokes your opponent for 1 damage each time you cast a spell. But I would like to just stick with the things that are particularly terrifying upon having displayed infinite red mana. And not... Or no, rather, good cards outside of... They're only there for a combo. I'd rather have a card that is good outside of a combo. With that being said, I don't know if Kiln Fiend is very good, but it is an elemental, so I can cast it. But see, the thing is, these elementals show up like before I would cast my commander, so maybe I don't even cast this until my commander's already in play or something like that. It feels kind of weird, but I don't think I'm reasonably killing someone with this. Just like the other deck, I have to run weird goats that are, like, really not good to have this do anything. And this is the same with elementals. I have to play, like, weird elementals. I did craft Subtlety, finally. Finally crafted it. But there's a second Roaming Throne that's an elemental, which is kind of cool, I guess. I don't know. This isn't as enticing as the Goat Storm nonsense was, but we'll see. We shall see. It is a 4-drop, and I don't have mana rocks. I don't know. We'll see. I don't have much to say. I need to play with it for a bit. Only into 6 this time. Okay. What does that do? Treasure token? Alright, I'm gonna, I guess, do something similar. I think I get Rite of Flame here. I've never seen this before. I guess it has Death Touch, and it's like a way to trigger your commander. Okay, well, let's do this for an island. Can they see the same cards again? No. Alright, so they can't see these. Well, why do I want the cat mana? I want the 2/2. I want it untapped. I don't always have to spend all my mana every turn. I don't want to cast Rite of Flames. So let's cast... Okay, so I'm not going to cast Sunderflock. I guess because they didn't swing, it's more appealing to do this. Like, they didn't show me an answer. Like, now I feel more comfortable tapping this. And then shuffle one of these away? Maybe I should have been grabbing take inventories here. I could just get rid of Sunderflock. Again, I really do not want to cast it, so... I have a fairly large storm here. Maybe Grape Shot can just hose enough in play that they'll just give up. That's funny. I guess it's free. Might as well just put it in play. Maybe I should be grabbing... No. We're at this point. I'm just gonna, like, Grape Shot. For a bunch. And I suppose I'll keep the counters on the Steamkin. Because I don't need the mana for any reason. Does it stop getting counters? It does. Okay. Cast or copy? It's cast. Alright, so we have Grape Shot for 9. I'm just going to Grape Shot for 9. So 1... 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then they take 2. And I'd rather not swing, so they don't get their commander back. But this is not a lethal Grape Shot. But they're kind of just totally out of the game that I think this is worth it. It probably is worth it. If I were to go back in time, though, I probably would have just been grabbing take inventories and not these Rite of Flames. Because I could have easily drawn like 1,000 cards this game. I mean, really stopping with the Witness Protection was huge. Alright, I guess my opponent's over it. Looks like it was the right line. Certainly faster than take inventory would be. But I think they would just get drowned in cards if I had done that instead. Well, they lost their ability to respond to this, so I guess I just kill their commander now. Because my opponent baby raged over the Grape shot there. And now I can swing, because they can't block. Like, I was probably not going to swing and give them their commander back. Well, that's, again, they actually have no mana. Yeah, we could probably just swing for 10. We could probably just do that. Well, that was a reason right there to have not tapped the cat the turn prior. If that last turn was any example. Here's a spot where, like, maybe Omniscience, maybe I should take it out, actually. We're not really an Omniscience deck, I don't think, now that I'm seeing an actual game where I didn't lose to Exploration and I could play the game. I feel like maybe I'm not an Omniscience deck. There are some lines where it's good, but, like, maybe there's a lot where it just isn't. The casting cost isn't really the issue, though, in my opinion. It does, like, kind of win, you know. It does win. Yeah, these... that's another thing that looks a bit goofy. Is delving away my Rite of Flames and take inventories. Okay, so the two things I was talking about while my opponent was busy baby raging sort of happened, where, like, Delve looks funny and Omniscience looks funny. That is not what we're doing. Also, what is this? Okay, it's that. I think I go right into my commander here. I think. What did my opponent just do? What was that? Hollowed Fountain? Okay. They didn't get a Triome. I'm gonna do take inventories again. Maybe, I have the overflowing insight. Maybe that's not right. Maybe that was wrong. Okay, I'd say with a moderate degree of confidence that was probably incorrect. Okay, I'm swinging. They have something, I don't know what it is, but they're not using it. Yeah, I should have got a Rite of Flame the first time. That's my bad. I didn't, like, register that this card was a thing. Is that Phyrexian Tower? What? Okay, so... you... might as well just cast it now for the sake of it. Draw some cards. Okay. And then, ideally, next turn, try to become stupid, is the idea. I mean, it's a 5-color deck on tapping with like 10 mana here, so we'll see. Or at least 6 mana. 7 mana, actually. Okay. A lot more than 7. Don't you love these mono green 5-color decks? Aren't they great? Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4? 4? Up the beanstalk. Uh-oh. Okay, no fury. They did not swing. I don't know why they didn't swing, but they didn't. Let's play Rite of Spaghetti. Rite of Spaghetti. Rite of Spaghetti. Oh, that wasn't Rite of Spaghetti. It's alright, we get another one anyway. I guess this was technically free. Because of the card I just cast. Well, you know, I could spend that minutes around. You know what I mean. And then shove aside their commander? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3. Any good elemental, please? I'm just gonna... I don't want to cast that. Okay, that was a good elemental. Alright. Rite of Spaghetti. No. Let's test for 6. I guess we're gonna twin thingy. Okay, they're over it. It's gonna be annoying. That's the one thing Subtlety does, is show itself the entire game. I wonder if I want Commandeer. Maybe? That seems a little crazy, but like this exact spot, Commandeer looks kind of okay. Like in this matchup, in this very specific instance, it looks kind of okay. If this was Commandeer, I mean. They did not grab a Surveillant, which I feel like this deck would like Surveillance, so... Insurrection? It's okay, I guess, I suppose. It's not that exciting. I am not going to discard anything, which is kind of a good sign. Is this a 1-mana removal spell? Of course it is. Let's play you. You. Another removal spell. Oh boy. How exciting. Oh, you don't want to kill this one, opponent? Why not? Isn't it scary? Look at it. Look at it do stuff. Cursed Mirror. Okay. They didn't jumpstart it. They could have jumpstarted it. I suppose I'll see if I can get another copy of this. I do. They have a removal spell, and it's pretty painfully obvious what they're saving it for, so I'm going to make them use it somewhere where they might not want to. Let's just do this and grab a draw 7. I think. I could get a counterspell. No, I'm going to grab a draw 7. I think there's a genuine situation in which I could actually use that, so... Maybe the other draw was going to be better on average. What does that do? Okay. I don't, oddly enough, think I care too much about that card. So, we play our commander, and we proceed to not lose the game immediately. So that's pretty cool. We like those scenarios. But we know of a removal spell. So we're just chilling. I can recast my commander very, very easily. So killing it doesn't look super enticing. Other than doing it, I suppose, specifically with this card. I have to subtlety that because of the terror trigger, not because of its ability. Alright, we did it. Look at that. We actually did it. We played around a removal spell in a spot where they didn't have time to leave it up and cast it. And we... Well, honestly, they could have still just cast it, though. So, kind of interesting. Terror of the Peaks is kind of a strange one. Especially for like a Mardu Reanimator deck. This is a strange one. You have access to some giant nonsense. Surprised to see this here. But I suppose it does let you do the I'll just cast things normally and not just only try to reanimate everything. Which is kind of cool. And then once you have anything else, it gets crazy. But it itself is kind of like eh. But this, yeah, just chooses probably Elemental, which does not matter. Or rather, I should say it chooses Creature, which doesn't matter. This could just stay and play the whole game, and I could very easily beat that. And the problem is, it just kills my commander with Terror. It's funny well, they knew of these two, so we Rite of Flame. We're drawing less than 7. We're drawing less than 7, so I should have grabbed the other draw 7. My hand made, at the time, made me think this was the right one, but obviously it wasn't. Okay. Look at that. Played around a removal spell, and it was actually very significant to do that. Played around a removal spell that we knew about, mind you. Which, like, changed the court. That actually, right there, that's a glaring example of when you give your opponent information, because it auto holds priority, it is very significant. Very significant. And I don't think my opponent... It's kind of funny, because like I picked up on the holding priority with 2 mana, but my opponent didn't seem to pick up on me holding priority with 0 mana, so they like weren't thinking about subtlety, because if they were, they might not have cast the 7/7 Angel, and would have just cast the removal spell. So, that's the difference. That was like a perfect example, that game. Perfect example. Someone paying attention to the priority and someone not paying attention to it, and it being an extremely deciding factor. Good learning lesson there. I don't have much to do with my commander, but I'm sure that'll be fine, right? I can hide my hand from... oh, Spaghetti-O discard? Does this deck play Surveil lands? I don't think it does. Probably doesn't want to risk that. Alright, get in there, 2/2. Get in there. Alright, we win. Either they didn't have a land, or maybe they just thought I was too fast to play my commander and they can't do anything about it. Feels like a pretty sketchy matchup. Walls of counterspells are not ideal, I will say. Oh, please counter this. Please counter this. Oh, I'm not really in the way I meant, but yeah, that works. Yeah, let's just do this. Might as well put it in play, I don't know. It's an awful card to bounce, so they don't want to bounce it. Let's try to cast this, make it look like I don't have a land. That's okay. Actually, this doesn't do anything. My opponent doesn't care about that. They return, like, the universe to their hand a lot. I could have brainstormed first. Ah, that might have been better. Yeah, I'm wishing I brainstormed first there. What the heck is that? Oh, sure. So, brainstorm now. Okay. Okay. You've now... okay. Really wish I had a second red source. For a lot of different reasons. Helm of the Host. That's a must counter. That is a must counter. Is this a must counter? No, it's not. They have to counter this. They don't counter it. Okay. Sure. I mean, I'm not upset at all about that one. I just can't lose my hand. I can't lose my hand here. Okay, well that probably just makes me lose. I don't know. Can we not have a bounce spell on top of this stupid counter spell, please? Moderately ideal. Moderately ideal. Alright, now I'll cast my thing. Cast that. No, I have to do this. Oh, okay, well it gave me the wrong mana left, which is not ideal. make another copy of my commander, which I would argue is somewhat significant. Okay, I have stats, and there's a lot of them. I get another turn with my commander? What if I just Cyclonic Rift it? Good. They're almost just dead to Cyclonic Rift. Alright, what do you do at 1 life when I have... I got Lightning Bolt, I got 3 threats, Helm can make hasting creatures. That was a god tier land to play, given the exact situation. Alright, nice. Nice! Oh, what a good game. Oh! That was a good game, I like that one. No mana rock. Alright. I mean, these two are good together, I guess. What is this? It's Titania. Oh, it's Titania. Oh, no. Well, I don't know. Ugh. I'm not even sure if I should have cast that. Both sides of it jumpstart or trigger this. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have cast this, actually. I don't know why I did. It's not a major incentive ever to cast it. Now what? Play the Grinning Ingus, I guess? Yeah. Just run it out. It's just going to be picked up, and then I can do this. This is like the last turn to do it, lest it die in the future. And I'm not really interested in blowing this up with Strangle. Not really interested. Okay, I have to actually read this. Add colorless red. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They made a mistake? What happened? Okay, I don't know what the mistake was. Oh, they paid 2 to make one, and I guess they didn't have a land? That doesn't seem like a big deal, though. I mean, you're still fine. That was a game where I did do nothing in the first 2 turns. Probably should have just mulliganed. I literally did nothing twice against a mono green deck of all things. I say it all the time, you can't do nothing for 2 turns. You kind of just lose instantly. At least Roaming Throne has been moderately scary. It does not cast as an elemental, unfortunately. I will absolutely take the time to not let this be a thing. Okay, never mind. Silly me. Silly me. That was probably one of the better draws possible. Let's name Elemental again. Yeah, this was probably one of the better draws possible. Yeah, it's like 2 days old. 3 days or something. Alright, maybe I stopped them long enough. I don't know. Wow, Vexing Bauble? Well, that would have stopped Fury, funny enough. Alright, looks like we just win. Unless there's a counter spell, but it could just be sacking the Vexing Bauble. I don't really know what it could be. Also, maybe I should have done more math here. Wait a minute. 4... 5... Okay, I can actually lead with this and just see first. Okay, sweet. What is that pile? That has to go away. Oh look, it's a green 1-drop. That solos your opponent. I'm going to just Witness Protection it. This is... okay. Oh, look. Undo my removal spell. Great. Glad that happened. And now we have a counter spell. Or rather, you don't even need a counter spell because I just like die next turn to their commander. I didn't die. You have Ephemerate? Of course you do. Of course you do. We hit the non-legendary one. Okay, I didn't somehow die, I guess. I don't know. So, now what? I should probably see what this is going to do before I do anything else. Okay, it didn't quite help me. So I can grape shot stuff, and I think I like have to grape shot stuff. So, like, it's not even. I have to do this because I can't let them untap. But then I'm kind of out of stuff, so. Let's go ahead and kill one of these. But I can stop them from casting their commander, I guess. Right? So 1, 2, 3. I lost track how many I have. Okay. I didn't die to their commander, and I guess I can kill it, and they can't recast it. But I have no cards. Alright, I can't believe that. I cannot believe that. They undid my removal spell, double mana dork. They didn't make 55 Aangs, I guess, and then I actually... This is the second time where just a value grape shot had won the game, which is just so nuts to me. That's actually insane. Doesn't care. Can I keep this hand? I don't think so. Can I? Okay. I guess. Can't wait to have all this fun against Rofellos again. I'm going to just strangle the Llanowar Elves and assume that's going to be a good idea. There's not much to strangle beyond mana dorks anyways, so might as well. I can grape shot this, but that doesn't save me that much value. I'm just going to lightning bolt. Again, it's the same logic. It's the same logic. But here's the exact turn where everything I was just trying to do doesn't matter. Yep. Typical. Typical. Also, I didn't draw a land. This is not a land. I guess I have to cast it anyways, but it's not a land on my turn. You can swing with the symbiote. It doesn't matter. Opponent doesn't do that. I mean, they're down to one card. I don't know what you want from me, but they're down to one card. So, don't know what to tell you. It's either a land or an untapped spell of some variety. I did not draw a land. This gives me one Rite of Flame, which I can't use. I mean, I'm extremely close to exploding, but I don't know. It's still Rofellos. All that early interaction didn't even stop anything. I'm going to assume that's what they drew, so this card is still the same. I don't know what it is. It's probably a land, but it could also just be some protection spell or something. Alright, well I got to my turn, so... This is not an elemental, right? No. It'd be poetic to explode the Rofellos player. Alright, we did it. Apparently they don't have anything. I almost clicked the wrong card. That would have been tragic. Sweet! I just dunked on a Rofellos. I mean, you could see where, like, my early removal didn't really do anything. It doesn't... I mean, on average, I think it kind of does, but in this game, it didn't, and I was vulnerable to any completely stupid thing off the top. I mean, look at what my opponent kept, though. Like, this is the state of Historic Brawl, where your Rofellos player can keep this and still reasonably win, because just like Azusa, when Azusa was the card that was played instead of Rofellos before it came out, it just could keep ridiculous nothingness because all it needs is one card, and there's like 55 of those one card nuclear bombs you could just draw. That's just the nature of it, you know. You're trying to do whatever this is trying to do, and your opponent just has like a 2-mana card that taps for 5 and you just lose, right? You have to do all these things to generate mana with Rite of Flame and stuff, and your opponent just taps a 2/1 and generates more mana than you could ever do with Rite of Flame. It's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous, but alright. So there are a lot of different things this commander's trying to do, which kind of surprises me. I'm not a bit blown away that Take Inventory is not great. I ended up actually taking out the Take Inventory in here, because every single time I basically ever conjured in Take Inventory, I just lost. So the game is like too fast to try to start taking inventory. So you need to be kind of all in on Take Inventory for it to be good, and that's okay. There's probably some kind of mono blue version of this commander that just does that, and that was not what this was. It does have that same problem where you need elementals in your deck to start doing stuff, and a lot of elementals are just not really that great. I'm sure there's some that I wasn't running that like, oh, why not try them? But like, there are a lot of elementals. You know, on the bright side, at least with goats, you're not expecting all the goats to be good. And there's actually so few goats that it, you know, to be surprised any were good at all. But you, no, I'm not talking about my deck. But yeah, it doesn't help that the list I was playing made Take Inventory difficult to spam, I guess. You could, but again, I wasn't all in on Take Inventory, nor was I all in on Rite of Flame. But Rite of Flame casts itself, so it doesn't have the same issue. But yeah, like the elemental options and the changeling options, I just don't like most of them. They're okay, like you could just put this in your deck. It is funny that every time I've seen this commander from an opponent, they've had this thing, which picks itself up forever, or they've had, like, this, which flips and gives you card advantage and mana and stuff, or, what's the other one? The Mana Rock one is nice, the Minidork one. Like, every time I see this, they have just one of the really good elementals, and they don't have all the funny random chaff, which just goes to show that there are not a lot of elementals, just like there's not a lot of goats, that this loves to have. But unfortunately, with this, like, unlike the goats, you have to cast them. You can't just have them discount the rest of your stuff, which would be, you know, okay, I guess. No, I never went off with this card. I did almost, but my opponent conceded it before I cast it. But it was at like 13. I was almost going to do it. But no, I didn't end up doing that. Yeah, but with infinite red mana, which is just the only thing that felt like was a reasonable line, was going into the Rite of Flames, which I didn't know which one was going to be a thing. I was planning on having both be an option, just it was not the case. So it seems like Rite of Flame is the vastly superior way of playing it. So if I do play this again, which is pretty likely, I'll be more Mono Red Storm, Ruby Medallion, Ral, Zarek kind of thing, and see where that takes us. I haven't quite seen that, but I think that's probably more reasonable. It doesn't look, at least in my head, look that different than this. Maybe just like less counter spells and random funny things. But it's roughly going to wind up being the same, just a little bit more geared all in on the Rite of Flame. But I would also like to try some kind of take inventory of this. But the problem is, like, with, let's say, mono blue version, which really the color screw of take inventory spam isn't the issue, nor would it have been the issue. That wasn't the issue. The issue here was trying to cast 5 Rite of Flames all at once, and then having enough blue to do anything else, right? And not specifically 5 take inventories. It's like, oh, I have all these Rites of Flames, but then I can't really cast Overflowing Insight, because it's triple blue. So you could play just giant colorless things, like the Endstone. Portal to Phyrexia's kind of okay, I guess, and just go more in that line. But let's say if we're not doing like Ruby Storm or whatever, is something in the middle like this, maybe that makes sense. But being down the middle did not work. Your deck really is not interested. Rather, I would say maybe the format in general, you're not really interested in doing both in the same game. And you're not capable, in my opinion, of pivoting, where Rite of Flame number 6 through 50 don't do anything, so you start to maybe take inventory. That's extremely unrealistic and also slow. So, like, if you have, for some reason, cast... Actually, how many? Yeah, I don't even have... That's another thing here. I don't have critical mass of elementals. So many elementals are like draft fillers, and it's so hard to get them. Like, we're not 5 colors. We don't have the other 3 colors of elementals. You struggle to, like, you're gonna run out of elementals. You know what I mean? So, like, if you're going half and half, you're gonna run out of cards. You're gonna run out of Rite of Flame conjures. You're gonna run out of inventories. It's not great when that happens to you. And yeah, one takeaway is Grape Shot for 7 was good. I think twice. Grape Shot value won me games. I've never seen that ever. It's not really why you would ever play Grape Shot, but I had Grape Shot win games in which it did not go face. That is extremely rare, but here it felt possible. It does kind of, it's not too crazy, but it is funny that happens. Like, you have all these Rite of Flames and Grape Shot in your hand. You're like, I might as well Grape Shot for 7 and just kill my opponent's stuff. Like, even if after you do that, you don't actually have anything left at all, your opponent might still concede, and that happened to us like 2 or 3 times. But if those games continued, I could still lose those games. So while it looked good and our opponent was over it, you can still just lose. They can just start playing lands again, or let's say you killed Menadorks that were important or something and set them far back. You don't have, like, this massive board state to, like, close the game out super, super fast if you dumped your hand to Grape Shot for 10 and it wasn't, like, lethal or anything. So there is that. But it was cool to see that, I suppose. But yes, take inventory felt way too slow. When I play this again, it's definitely going to be Rite of Flame. And I just don't think there's a take inventory version of this commander. It's maybe worth trying. It's not off the table for me. I mean, you know me, I would like to try it, but I'm just not seeing it. Especially as mono blue, like counter spells and stuff, because these are sorceries. I suppose you only really need to cast one of them, but the only way in my head that I can see this being a take inventory style thing is like Sapphire Medallion, Brawl, Goblin Electromancer, I guess, making them cost 1. Paradox Engine 1 ring, which would just go into the Rite of Flame one anyways, the red one. But it seems like I'm doing this weird convoluted version of Katara as a commander, where Katara just plays the game on your opponent's turn, and all they have to do is cast the first take inventory, that is literally Katara, and then cast spells on your opponent's turn, and all of the spells, this is basically exactly what Katara reads. It's a 2-mana take inventory, and when you cast spells on your opponent's turns, those spells become take inventories in your graveyard, like the experience counters. And then all you have to do is swing with the first take inventory you played, which is Katara. And then you swing with it, and all of the take inventories trigger. And they trigger more than once, because they keep triggering. So, or rather, you know what I mean, the take inventory that you played the first time, the Katara, is cast repeatedly for 0 mana every time you swing it. So, literally what this would try to do is just Katara. It is literally what Katara is. Katara is just a take inventory deck. Just all of your spells on your opponent's turn are the take inventories. So I don't know if that... I mean, you could have the same thing in different commanders. It's just here is really weird because you need a 3/3 in play that costs 4, and then you need to cast elementals to get the take inventories, and then you need to draw something significant that isn't simply more elementals. Like, oh yeah, I drew 5 cards, I played 5 elementals, I drew 25 cards, I played 10 elementals. Like, the elementals are not the payoff. They're just kind of the enabler. If they were the payoff, that would be great. Some of them are good. Fury, Subtlety, some of them are actually good. But most of them aren't. So they can't really be your quote-unquote payoff. So you're better off just playing Katara as the literal take inventory commander. So that just leaves us with Rite of Flame. And there is definitely a Rite of Flame deck. Basically, every time I've seen this commander, it seems all about Rite of Flame for the opponent. However, I haven't seen a wide range of elementals. It's just like the same 4 to 5 elementals every time I see it, and they happen to be like far and away the best elementals to play. You could probably do a fling thing. I did have Kazul's Fury in here and just like fling this, but if you go absolutely insane, you can fling this. It gives you a definitive way to win if you Paradox Engine 1 ring spam and draw your whole deck. Because this has Prowess and Trample. You probably don't even need to fling it because it has Trample. So it's a cool commander. I'll give it that. It's a cool commander. We've had some pretty cool commanders that aren't like destroying the format or anything, right? It's actually kind of cool. I like that. The Lorwyn set didn't break the game, and rather have these. These are designed pretty well. I think so. It's a pretty cool commander. It's another one of those commanders I kind of wish was almost just printed on paper, but you can't conjure cards. Design space would be a little weird. Tokens in your graveyard would have new rulings, I suppose. But yeah, the elemental thing is the biggest crutch of this. Just like the goats are the biggest crutch of the goat deck. But the affinity for goats is a lot more substantial than every time you cast an elemental, you get the actual spell you're looking for. It's a lot different. So I would say the goat deck is just better than this one. At least so far. But yeah, next time it's definitely going to be mono red. Yeah. Or at least mono red with, like, you know, keep the kitten in the deck still. It's not like you still need an island to cast this. You know, you still like the absolute best blue cards or something like that. But for the most part, just like all in red. Yeah, no more Zatalpa or Emrakul the Promise End. I got close to casting Giant Eldrazi. I did, but I was teetering off at like 9-ish mana with Rite of Flame spam. So it's kind of hard to do that. And it's all red mana, so even if it was, a giant blue spell, I can't really do that, or it's like colorless cards or red cards. I guess if this was technically a Jeskai commander, Zatalpa would be difficult to cast, just as an example, because it's got double white. So it's actually kind of hard. But man, I wish it was green, just like Iroh. I wish all the Storm decks were green. I wish this was Teamer. I wish the Goat Napper was Jund. Green would just catapult these commanders. Oh, they would catapult these commanders into a much higher degree of viability, and that would be cool. I don't think they would break the game, unless, of course, you were doing the mono green thing and just had like a do nothing commander. But it would be nice to have just the green mana to do this. Like, if this was 2 turns faster, it would be so much better. So much better. And Exploration Burgeoning would kind of let you do that. This would be so much better. And you would get access to some pretty good cards in green, too. Like a Floral Hedron or whatever. Like, there's some pretty solid green elementals, honestly. You probably could even just cast Endurance. You could just put all of them in here. Yeah, it would be nice. But you can see this from me trying to play Klothys. This is going way back, but I used to play Klothys, the 3-mana god, as a Storm commander, and just have like the treasure spam and all that jazz, and then the green mana to do all this stuff. And that was one of my favorite decks. And I'd never seen anyone do anything like it until Iroh showed up, and then is now just that thing, but an actual commander that's more in on that thing. And I do really like Iroh, so yep. Just they all can't be green though. They all can't be green. Kind of tragic. They should let you just play green cards anyways, even if your commander isn't green, because it's just like the green decks are just, oh man, they're just so much better than any other color right now. It's crazy. Kind of tragic, but it is what it is. It is what it is. The rich get richer, right? All right, that's it. So let me know what you thought about it. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.